Hi, Stitchers.
Hi!
I'm Laura.
And I'm Keisha, and we're the Pattern Queens, and this is special Stitch With Us number 11.
Woohoo!
Today is not Mother's Day. It is actually Wednesday, May the 12th, and this is a channel about cross stitch.
And all sorts of other stuff because we are a hot mess tonight.
A hot mess.
And it started out because Sunday, we had great plans to do it. And then Keisha got the opportunity to spend time with both her mother and her grandmother. And so she was doing that. And we were talking about what time we would film. And I'm like, but that's not fair to Keisha. She won't get to spend her first Mother's Day with her boys. And so I said, do you just want to wait? And she's like, well, sure, because we're totally flexible with these things. Oh, and you guys, we're going to have the fun life. But yeah, so then we said, let's do Tuesday.
And so we said, let's do Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And so 6 o'clock.
Keisha was ready.
Waiting on a message from Laura. About 15 after. We still filming today? No answer. Later on, message from Katie. Were you and Mom supposed to film tonight? What time? No.
I was asleep. And then I got up to the news that my husband and my youngest, while they were out doing their job, had somebody pull out in front of them, right in front of them, and cause a massive accident. So it caused Jeff to hit them and veer off because of that and hit a fire hydrant as well. So Jeff said there was water everywhere. I mean, it was just a mess.
Right.
So they're all okay. They're both okay. The other person was fine. I don't know what happened completely, but yeah, we're feeling pretty good that everybody's okay. Yes. The vehicle is totaled. Oh, and Jeff had just gone yesterday and gotten it licensed because it was a new to us vehicle. Oh. So he had finally gone and gotten the license plates, paid the taxes, done all the things.
Well, that never happens until after you've just paid for something, right?
Oh my gosh. So anyway, exciting day.
Right. So here we are, Wednesday. With our great plans, we were like, oh yeah, everyone, pull out your stitching. We'll put this up on Mother's Day. You can stitch with us. But it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's after work. It's before dinner. You've got us at a weird time. So, but we're here. And we're here to both work on Let Joy Be Unconfined from the Blue Flower. This was her Stay Home and Stitch freebie. And so here we are on that. Of course, there's a hoop in the middle of mine, but
now Keisha's is all in the called for colors, and they are Dinky Dyes. Mm-hmm. And I had a collection of Dinky Dyes. I had bought one of her packs that you can get that just have all these various things, and I had some from before that as well. So I pulled out, I had a couple of the colors that are called for and just worked the rest of these to be with it. So
nice. And
so
mine
of course
is
my
on
words are purple.
Could you try again?
Yes. And this is on 32 count Fern even weave from Color and Cotton, Needle Minder by Katie Landis.
Mine is on 32 count Tutu from Color and Cotton, Needle Minder by Katie Landis. It's my sleep is for the week. It's actually Katie's, because I always manage to get back here to her room and not have a needle minder. If I made it back,
we are not sponsored by Katie Landis and the Black Needle Society, but we're basically sponsored by Katie Landis and the Black Needle Society.
And Katie cracks up because she says she can hear us whether we're filming in here or if I'm in the living room, she can hear us talking. And we both always say Katie Landis.
Like we're going to be talking about some other Katie.
Yeah. We're so funny.
Well, at least we think we are.
Yes, and that's the important
jury's
thing,
out.
right? We find each other humorous. That helps.
That's true. So today, since it was supposed to be Mother's Day, I have questions about our kids.
Awesome.
They're the top. So, you can't say anything bad about Katie because she's right there.
I know. Well, at least I hope she won't, deck me or anything while I'm on camera.
I guess you can whisper if there's anything too bad.
Okay.
And I thought it would be interesting to kind of answer some questions about our kids because we're coming from pretty different stages of life for our children.
Yes.
So I think
I think Keisha just called me old.
well, I mean, the first question is, how old were you when you had your first child? To which you could plead the fifth if you don't want people to do the math.
Actually, I was 26 when I had my first.
Nice. I was 30, just 17 days shy of my 31st birthday. So
I had both of my babies right after my birthday.
You did.
Katie was born 5 days after my birthday, and Bree was born 18 days after my birthday. So 10 years apart.
Yeah. July birthdays are the best birthdays.
And we're all crabby.
James is crabby. I'm a lion. All right. So the next question is, what was the worst thing about being pregnant?
Ooh.
Would you like me to tell you mine because it's fresher in my head?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So when I was pregnant, I had gestational diabetes.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my gosh. I mean, it wasn't, because you try to eat healthy anyway. And it wasn't so much sweet things that I wanted even. I wanted like more salty, savory things. But I had to count my carbs. And I just wanted chips and bread. Like, that's all I wanted. I wanted a big pile of nachos most of the time.
And your husband was awesome at helping you with that.
He was. My husband was food police, like the entire time. He would be like, I have packed you a lunch and it is exactly the amount of carbs that you can have. And here's a little snack that you can have later. The problem was we ate out quite a bit whenever I was pregnant, which is fine. But just looking through menus of fast food restaurants and other restaurants to find something that fit into the amount of carbs I was allowed to have was a pretty daunting task. Though I could tell you with absolute certainty that you can get the meal at Taco Bell that is 3 tacos, and you could also get an order of nachos and be under 60 grams of carbs. So if you need that information, there's that information for you.
Well, the great thing about Mexican food is that you really are getting a lot of vegetables. Mm-hmm. And as long as you choose wisely, like your salsa is even going to be an okay thing.
Right. But it's the fact that I want to eat a whole bunch of chips.
I just want all the sour cream. That's my problem. So
that was the worst thing. Also, I had pretty bad heartburn. And I did have a baby with a lot of hair. I know that's only anecdotal, but a lot of heartburn, a lot of hair on that kid.
I mean, they're old wives' tales for a reason, right? Really, I did not have a terrible, terrible time. I never felt better than when I was pregnant, both times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was happy to be pregnant, which I know you were too. Mm-hmm. I was happy to be pregnant, and I just felt so good, probably because I was eating well right. And, paying attention, doing what I was supposed to. So, I will say that my first child, Katie Landis, liked to do like stretches, full on stretches where both arms were out and both legs were out as well, and then stretch. So I would be suddenly leaning back.
Mhm.
But for the most part, I really had easy pregnancies.
Yeah. See, James didn't stretch a whole bunch, but he did kick a lot and very hard. He also definitely preferred being on my left side. So, like, there was one time I went into the doctor and they couldn't find his heartbeat because they were checking the middle of my stomach. And I was like, oh no, he was just moving around a whole bunch in the waiting room. So I'm sure he's okay. But he's over on this side. And they're like, oh, yep, there he is. That's weird. He's really curled up over there. Uh-huh. So, let's see. What was your favorite thing about being pregnant?
I think just feeling good. I felt fabulous. My hair grew, my nails grew, you know. I felt very feminine during my pregnancies. Oh, you know
Mhm.
what? I just thought of here's the worst thing from my pregnancy. When I was pregnant with Katie, um, Hallmark and McDonald's both came out with the saddest, sappiest, not saddest, the sappiest commercials about like kids growing up. And, they were all the big rage was the touchy feely commercials.
Mhm.
And I would be sitting there and everything would set me off and I would be in tears. And it got so that Jeff would just pick up the tissue box and just hand it to me. He wouldn't say anything. He would just hand me the tissue box. So, but the best thing, I liked feeling the babies move.
Mhm.
That was exciting to me. And really I just felt good.
Right.
We didn't think we would get pregnant again.
Mhm.
So the excitement of finding out that I was pregnant with Bree was so awesome.
Right. I bet. Yeah. So, like, of course, like feeling the baby move and everything is definitely an experience. Because before I got pregnant, I was like, that's just gonna be weird, and it is. It's very weird, but it's also nice. It's reassuring, whatever they're moving. But I think like some of my fondest memories is just how like weird my kid was. Like, so he definitely had a schedule, and he still does. James is, I mean, you got to have at least this amount of playtime with mom, and then dinner, and then this amount of playtime with mom before you go to sleep. And it doesn't matter what time mom gets home. So, but he would like, I'd get up about the same time every day, and I would usually have a hot drink, and it was Earl Grey tea generally because that's what I craved the whole time. And as soon as I took a drink, I'd just feel like little happy moves, little happy kicks, like, oh, it's morning time. So that was fun. Just like, I don't know. I know they probably don't really have much of a personality whenever you're pregnant, but it felt like you did. And then, and to go along with the gestational diabetes, while that was a very hard thing, it also meant that I pretty much got to pick what I wanted to have for dinner all the time because Timothy was like, "You have a very tough diet restriction. So I'll let you choose whatever you'd like because I can find something to eat anywhere we eat out." So I had a lot of hot wings whenever I was pregnant because I was like, the spicier, the better. Give me all of the spice. And since they were chicken wings, there weren't that many carbs to them. So I was like, just give me all of the chicken wings. So James is mostly Earl Grey tea and chicken wings.
And the funny thing about the spicy stuff is that Katie has a company that she orders from for Black Needle
Mhm.
that for whatever reason, they stick in a bottle of hot sauce. It is too hot for anyone at my house to eat it. However, Keisha loves it.
Yes. Oh man. I mean, and pregnant Keisha loved it even more. It was like, just put the hot sauce on everything. Like I had hot pickles in the house. I had pickled jalapenos that I put on like everything. It was a ridiculous time. It was a ridiculous time. And it didn't matter because I was gonna have heartburn if I just ate like a piece of toast. So
Yes.
I was like, just bring it on. Bring it on the spice. So what was the most surprising thing you discovered when you became a mom?
Oh, okay. I have been an aunt since I was in the third grade.
Mhm.
So I've been around a lot of babies and a lot of little kids. It is totally different when you have your own child to deal with and to take care of. And I don't know. I think maybe the most surprising thing is just um you kind of feel like the Grinch that your heart grows that
Mhm.
much bigger. And I can't imagine ever being without my kids.
Right.
That's just like the most amazing thing to me that, I have these wonderful kids. And
Mhm.
see, now I have to say all the nice stuff in front of her
I
too.
know. It's okay. It's okay. You can go in the other room later and tell us all the bad things about Katie.
But yeah, the lovely things are just how awesome it is to have a child turn you into a family.
Yeah.
And it's just
Right.
an exciting thing. So
For sure. I mean, that's definitely something for me. And it's like, so James will be 10 months old in a couple of days. And somehow it feels like he's been here forever. Like, I can't,
yes.
it's hard to think about what things were like before him. And he hasn't even been here a year. Like, definitely just like how close he's brought me and my husband together, and then just like having this little person in the house
Hmm.
who's like growing his own personality, and it's amazing. And but another thing, I didn't realize how little sleep a person needed to function.
You are definitely experiencing that now,
Oh
right?
my gosh. Well, and it's better than it was because whenever he was first born, he he didn't want to sleep uh in his bassinet or in his crib. Like we tried putting him different places. He didn't want to sleep there. And we tried like all the different tricks. We'd even talked to like the nurse at his pediatrician's office for some tricks on how to do it. And of course we didn't want him to just lay there and cry. So and then they tell you all these things. Are like, they can't sleep with you. Make sure they're in a place where they're it's clear of everything, and you need to make sure that they're safe, which of course we wanted to make sure that James was safe. So I just wasn't sleeping because I was like, he's not sleeping any place safe. So my husband and I would just like take turns basically with James, watching him sleep while the other one slept. And luckily, about the time that I went back to work, I was like, okay, kid, we've got to figure this out. We've got to figure this out. And he started sleeping in his bassinet. So I'm very, very excited about that. And now he's a big boy and he sleeps in his own crib. And we've even had to lower the mattress because now he can stand up on his own and we didn't fall out. So
Oh my gosh. Bree in the crib, when she hit a certain age and was teething, she gnawed every inch of that crib.
oh really?
Like you could pull the crib out and there are teeth marks all the way around.
Oh gosh.
I don't know, but she loved the teething on the wood of the crib.
That's funny. I'm kind of surprised James hasn't started that. James, finally, you can see his top right tooth is
Oh,
poking through.
yay.
So I kind of had an interesting week last week where he just was not feeling good, really fussy, kind of feverish, not eating. We had a hard week last week at our house. Um, and I was like, I know that his teeth are coming. They've been coming for a while. And then today I saw we get like a little written report from daycare. And it said, I saw his top tooth. And I was like, wait a minute. You can see it now. So I'm like, let me see in your mouth. Let me see in your mouth. And he wouldn't let me see in his mouth because he's a butthead. And so
Let me stick my finger in there and you can just bite it. Yeah.
Right. So my husband's like, well, just make him laugh. And so I did that. And then I was like, I can see it. So then I'm like, come see. You never think that you'd be that excited about seeing like the smallest little bit of a tooth, but
Okay, here's a little TMI, but we had the happiest moment when our child had solid bowel movements. And you were done with the meconium stuff, and yeah, when it, yes. That was so nice.
always good news. Man, babies make you talk about gross stuff.
Yeah.
Worried about bodily functions way more than you ever were. And I had heard like that, and I'd seen it like joked about, and I'm like, I don't think so. But no, it really is. You talk about it a lot. Or at least I do.
It's those little things that are like so exciting.
Right.
Hallelujah. We're not going to have to change that anymore.
Okay, the next question is, do you share any similarities to your kids, either in personality or looks?
Oh, I don't think I'm that either of my kids are like me. If you guys need to know whether we're alike or not, go watch the Black Needle Society. Katie and I definitely share like the same sense of humor. We share a lot of similarities. She has deep set eyes and darker hair like her dad, but her hair's not as dark as his was, but it's darker than mine was. So the deep set eyes though everybody would say, oh, she looks just like her dad, and I'd be like, stop saying that. I'm the one who carried her for that long. So anyway, we are pretty much two peas in a pod. Right. And Bree was my little sweetheart that we would sing on the way to preschool, and just the both of my kids are introverts, so that's very different from me. But to get the little shy songs and the cuteness, that's very fun. Yes. So, and Bree reminds me of my oldest brother, just in drawl and speech pattern, and just it's all very much like my oldest brother. So that's very sweet for me too.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. When James was born, he looked quite a bit like my baby pictures, but as he's getting older, he's starting to look a little bit more like his dad. But when he was born, he had a whole bunch of really, really dark hair. And he's got really big eyes, but his eyes are definitely the color of his dad's.
Oh.
And as he's gotten a little bit older, his hair has lightened up, and his hair's a little bit curly at the ends. And my husband's hair, whenever it gets longer, it gets a little bit curly. So I'm like, oh, you probably have your dad's hair.
Okay, but Bree started life as a blonde, really, really blonde with blue eyes, and settled into a medium to dark brown with green eyes. So my eyes are hazel. Jeff's are a dark green brown for sure.
See, my hair was actually darker whenever I was born. So my hair actually lightened up, but and my husband was born with no hair. And whenever he eventually got hair, it was a lighter brown. And James is starting to kind of get a little bit lighter. And then I have kind of more gray eyes, and Timothy has bright blue, like really pretty eyes. And uh, and that's what color James's are right now. So everyone's like, oh, he has the prettiest eyes. I'm like, no, there's dad's. But can I please show you a picture about mine and James's similarities that I find
Absolutely.
hilarious? And this is not a recent photo. Well, speaking of James, there he is, if you can hear that in the background. So I think personality-wise, this little boy is my personality. Like, my husband is very calm, he's very quiet, and like I'm introverted, but I'm also kind of loud. And I'm also a little bit chaotic. And so just putting me and James together, we're just like hitting stuff to make noise and just laughing really loudly at each other and making all kinds of noise. And my husband's just over there just being really quiet. So I think James is my boy through and through that way. But if he ends up more like his dad, that's okay with me. I did like his dad enough to marry him, so it's okay if he gets a little bit more like his dad. Oh, well, this will be fun. Describe, you get 2 sentences because you have 2 kids. Describe your kid in a sentence.
Katie is very, and see, I have to get all of the words in there. Katie is
She's probably watching you intently.
She's typing over here working. She is very artistic and driven and self-motivating, and she is a great support. Mm-hmm. And Bree, I feel like is Bree is my little sweet soul. She's just very sweet. And I say that because I think about things like when she was little, she would say that she only allowed happy words in her house. Oh. And she told us that she only allowed happy words, nice words, happy words in her house. Now she plays video games where they're shooting and killing each other. So,
yeah, I'll play some of
those. Prefers the happy words in the house. So she's very sensitive.
Let's see. How would I sum up?
That's hard when your baby is not yet a year old, right?
Right. James is wonderful chaos trying to learn how to control his own chaos. He's wonderful. I love my boy. I'm so excited about him. But he's definitely like he's kind of in that stage now where he's crawling. He's completely mobile. He can climb over things. He has no fear of anything. He's pulling himself up to standing now. He's trying his very best to push away and walk places. And he'll just roll around. He'll grab anything. He'll stick it in his mouth. He'll crinkle any piece of paper he can find. So he's definitely chaos. He's definitely chaos, but a wonderful kind of chaos. And he's trying to figure things out, but it's hard whenever you're new to being alive.
Right. You have to test everything.
So I say that he's wonderful chaos with a lot of love. Because I would hope that someone would describe me as wonderful chaos. On my best days, maybe. Let's see. Ooh, what's the most exciting milestones your kids have reached?
Sorry, pushing the needle there. I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean, your daughter is part owner of several small businesses.
Yeah. I was
Pretty
thinking
milestone.
through the idea that one of the things that I was proudest of is that when Katie graduated college, she came home and was here. So she came home at the end of May or mid-May, because it was always the week after Mother's Day that they got out, which just irritated me to death. But Mother's Day is just a day. We just did it a week late. But Katie came home and put out resumes like mad. And for my birthday on July 3rd, she gave me this gift. And it was telling me that she had accepted a job in Columbus, Ohio, like 10, 12 hours away.
Yeah.
But she didn't know anyone there. She didn't have any contacts. And she is an introvert. And she picked herself up and moved clear across the country. We helped move her, but she moved that many hours away, and she figured it out and survived on her own. And we had lots of conversations. That's one of the sweetest things about Katie being away, living away, is that we talked every day. And we would talk in the morning, and we would talk while we got ready for work, and then while we were both headed to work. So that's something that I'm really proud of, that she picked up and moved. And when she made a move to a new company, and when they were bought out, we knew it would come eventually, because she was the third art director. And eventually she did get laid off, came home, had a job immediately. Wow. And when things went crazy with that one, then we already had one business, and our second business, the Black Needle Society, was born. And I feel like Katie's really developed a lot of that. Milestones for Bree. The biggest milestone, I think, for Bree is being courageous enough. Mama's going to get choked up.
It's okay. I'm hiding myself because I'm like, I'm going to get choked up on your behalf.
Bree came out to us last November as a person who is transgender. So Bree began life as my little boy and is now my beautiful daughter. And her timing was terrible. She did it like 20 minutes before we had to do a live Stitch with Us for the Black Needle. But just to have the courage and the confidence to sit us down and talk to us about where she is in life and what she's feeling and how she's feeling, that is a huge thing. And I am a person who learns by asking questions. So I can say with every confidence that she is a patient person. Because I mean, seriously, I'm going to ask you if I don't know something, if I need some clarification about things, because I truly enjoy learning. And this is something that, we definitely want to be correct and considerate and courteous about and supportive. So it's been a huge thing. So that's a huge milestone.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to the strength of your family and how open you guys all are. Because I know that some trans people have a really hard time.
I told both of my kids separately at one point in their lives, if you ever came to me and told me that you were, you know, I think I said at that point, if you ever came to me and told me that you were gay, I would cry. Not because, not because there would be anything wrong, but because I would know how hard life would be for you, because it is, I mean,
Right.
it's not a choice, but it is a hard road.
Right. Not
But
everyone is understanding and accepting.
right. And I told him, but you wouldn't have to worry about that, because I would only be crying for that reason, because you're my kid and
Right.
I love you no matter what, because you are my kid and I am going to support you in everything that you do. So
Right.
unless you decide to jump off a cliff, and then I'm probably going to say, oh, please don't do that.
Rein it in, rein it in. Too
Look, if
much
I move
freedom.
this way just this far, I'm suddenly not blinded. But yes, so big life changes in the Landis family.
For sure, for sure. But better whenever everyone can express themselves the way that they are, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I don't have anything as touching as that. James barely done anything. I mean, that first night he slept in his bassinet was a pretty good one. That's I think I mean it's hard because everything seems so big right now. And I know eventually, other things will happen. So it's like, oh, he sat up on his own. He stood up. But I think so whenever James had to start going to daycare, I was I was a little afraid, during the time of COVID. And luckily, whenever I first went back to work, Katie was in a position where she could come and watch James. And that was lovely. Because I didn't have to worry as much. He got individual attention. I got pictures every hour.
I got pictures several times a day.
Right. So, that was a pretty big security blanket for me going back to work. And I'm very grateful that I got that. So, whenever Katie made the decision to focus on Black Needle Society full time, I told her, I was like, I'm very excited for you as your friend that your business is growing and that you do not have to do a side job. But I'm also very sad as James's mom. But so he went to daycare, and oh man, it was hard. And he cried the first couple of times, and he still does every once in a while.
It's
Kids
new, yeah.
kids don't always want to go. But there was one day, and they've been picking him up at the door. I don't get to walk him in to his classroom just because they're limiting the amount of people in the building, which as a mom of a kid who goes there, pretty excited about that. And so usually it's a helper who comes to the door and picks him up and takes him to his classroom. But one day it was the lady who is in his classroom all the time and watches him. And she came to the door and she's like, oh, hi, James. And he just got the biggest smile on his face and did his hands like this, which means, take me. And I was just I was so proud in that moment. I was like, look at him. He's adapted. He has adapted to this. And he did whenever Katie started watching him, he was too small to really care other than, oh, there's a person here who will feed me. That's good. And whenever he got a little bit older, he would smile and stuff whenever she got there. But, it wasn't whenever I left him with Katie the first time, it was hard, but it wasn't he didn't know that I was leaving, Now he knows I'm leaving.
Yes.
So that's the current milestone that I'm the most proud of, is that my boy has adapted to being at daycare and seems to be doing okay with it. Also, I can now see a top tooth, and I'm very excited about that after a week of that. So, all right, we'll do one last question. And that is, what has been the most rewarding thing about being a mom? We'll leave on a sappy one, even though we got you to cry on the last one.
Wow. Man, that's hard to answer.
Mhm.
For me, I feel like just the idea that we could that we became such a cohesive unit, and that we function with each other, we get each other's jokes, we enjoy spending time with each other still. We just had Mother's Day. My family knows that anytime that we are celebrating me for some reason, that means we are having family game night.
Mhm.
And there's no whining or fussing. Usually there's no whining or fussing, and we all have our favorite games, and we sit down and play, and we spend 2 or 3 hours just playing games and talking and laughing and just having a good time. So I think that's probably one of the most rewarding things, is just growing that family that is total support, total love. That's a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's fun because you have all of these really deep answers to things, and I'm like,
See, and I feel like your
nice.
answers are just perfect.
They're definitely the answers of a person who hasn't had a baby for a year, who's just excited to be sleeping now. Um, no, I mean, definitely, like, and I'm sure that this will change as it gets older. And hopefully I have the cohesive family unit that you do, that where there's so much love. Cause like, I mean, you could tell, like, don't mess with any of the Landises because all the other Landises have each other's backs. Like, that's just kind of the family you have. And I think that's great. So I hope that, someday we're like that too. Um,
Yeah, Katie just bought me, while you're still thinking of it, Katie
mhm.
just bought me pride shirts, because it'll be Bree's first pride year.
Yeah.
She's wearing one of her shirts right now, but one of the shirts she bought me is a big bear, and it
Hmm.
has and it's a big, like a big white bear, right? White. It's a big solid color bear, and there's
Hmm.
a smaller rainbow bear like in front of the bear, and mine says Mama Bear.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Huh. I think right now, well, of course, the fact that that little boy loves me so much, like,
Oh,
it definitely makes you feel like you're someone.
I've done something right.
But I think so that's probably a rewarding thing number one. But also, like, you have a kid and you take the kid home and you're like, someone thought that this was a good idea. We thought this was a good idea. The hospital just let us take him. We have no qualifications. Um, and the fact that we just like that my husband and I just like bonded and figured it out. And we have a happy boy. Like like
Hmm.
that's also really rewarding. Just like in a selfish kind of way that I did it.
We
I've
can
done
make
it
this work, right?
right.
Yeah.
I've done it for almost 10 months now. And I know that, like, as he grows, there are all kinds of different challenges and and different things that we'll face. But you know what? For 10 months, I've done it. I've done it. I have a happy boy. So,
Yep.
right now, that's the most rewarding thing.
Oh my goodness.
So that was us talking about our kids for a while. I mean, not that we don't usually. I mean, guys, you know what it is. You're always going to get a James story, and you're
Yeah.
probably going to get a Katie and a Bree story. That's just the way things go.
I am putting in like the last 3 stitches on this one section.
Oh,
I don't feel like I stitched a lot during this, but that's okay.
it's weird. So I'm trying to finish the frogwarts model. I had to frog like a couple hundred stitches the other day. That's a completely different story. But it's really weird. So I've been working on that one, which is 36 count with 1 strand. So very easy. My 25/7 piece that I've been working on, Santa Cruz, can't wait to show you guys this weekend. Love Santa Cruz. He's the best. That's on 14 count perforated paper with 3 strands. So pretty different. And then now I'm working on this, and it's 32 count with 2 strands. So I have no cohesion in the way that I'm stitching anything. It takes me like a few minutes to just acclimate. And there are over 1 spots on the frogwarts model. So that's just a whole completely different thing.
Now, I'm only using 1 strand on this, on my
Mhm.
32 count. Usually with things like with silks like this, I only use 1 strand.
Gosh.
And I'm happy with my coverage. So
Mhm.
that's where it has to be, right?
Yeah. See, I had never stitched with silks before. So I was like, I guess I'll just use it the normal way. And I think I mean, the colors are like really, really rich. So I'm not mad about it.
I don't think you can really go wrong with it. Sorry, I'm counting.
That's okay. I will probably have to go back and count my stitches because I didn't do a very good job of doing that while we were.
Whoops, that little tail pulled through. I have to get out my snag nabbit and take care of that one. It's just where I started.
Mm-hmm.
And the little tail. I did the single strand loop.
Ah, yes.
So, did you enjoy your Mother's Day?
I did. It was really nice to see my mom and my grandma. It was funny. I had one of those moments where I felt like a terrible, terrible daughter. Because I didn't know until the last minute, really, that I was going to be seeing my mom. So I didn't. I procrastinated on buying my mom a Mother's Day gift, and was just going to give her something the next time I saw her. So I didn't have a gift to give my mother for Mother's Day. Or a gift to give my grandmother. It was a very unexpected visit. I didn't find out until the day before. So, yeah. So my mom's like, oh yeah, this brother took me out to lunch and he got me a new pair of shoes. And then your other brother bought me a gift certificate to the shoe store so I could get some more shoes. Because apparently my mom's into shoes now. I don't know. And then I was like, well, I didn't get you anything. I'll buy you a candy bar. Want me to buy you a candy bar? Like, you can come see James. Want to come see James? So she saw James. And she got me a really pretty, she bought me a dress. I wear a lot of like maxi dresses to work because they're comfortable and basically feel like you're wearing pajamas.
Yes.
So, and it's, so I'm sure that I will be this way eventually. It's a tie-dyed dress. It's pretty. But my mom's like, because you're really into tie-dye. When I was like 12, I owned a couple of tie-dye shirts.
I was just thinking, I don't know that I've ever thought that you were into tie-dye.
I mean, it's a good dress. And now people think I'm into tie-dye. Like, I'll wear it for sure because it's pretty. But I'm just like, are you remembering that one shirt I had when I was like 12 years old, Mom? Because you might be remembering that shirt. But that'll be me. A few years from now, I'll probably be like, James, like you're You're really into Clifford, the big red dog, right? Mom, I'm 16.
We did get to spend part of our Mother's Day weekend together.
We did.
Because Keisha is like the person who will get the last minute text. When did I text you? Thursday or Friday?
Oh man, I don't even know. It was pretty last minute though, because
And
I
I said,
remember.
hey, we're going to go to Wichita on Saturday and go to Heart's Desire. Want to come?
I was like, well, sure. Let's see, when did you send me that text?
I'm thinking maybe it was Thursday,
Probably so.
but it could have been Friday because you did say that James had been teething and it had kind of a rough night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking through. Keisha and I will have prolific conversations through
And we have them over several days.
Yes.
Um, oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, you sent it to me on Thursday. So,
And Keisha's like, well, sure, I will change my entire weekend and go with you.
well, and yeah, James had kind of a rough time, and my husband had he my husband works overnights, and so if he has to watch James on a day when he's had to work, that means he like stays up all day. And he had just had to do that on that Thursday. And so I came home and James was doing better. He went back to daycare. But it's like, hey, is this okay? And Timothy is great. Like he never complains. He's like, of course we can hang out, me and James. So but it was one of those like, I know that you've spent a whole lot of time, and if he's not feeling well, I'll totally stay home because you've had to have sick baby for a few days.
And Wichita is a full day trip for us
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like 3.5, 4 hours one way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
And Keisha and I, well, Keisha was model stitching in the car, and yeah, you ended up model stitching the whole time, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I had finished the model on Wednesday last week. I was playing thread chicken
Mm-hmm.
and thought that I might run out of one color, and I wanted to find out for sure. So I put in over 1,500 stitches just to get it finished. And I was up way entirely too late, but
Mm-hmm.
just to get it finished so that I would know whether or not I had enough floss. And since then, I have been stitching just a lot. But in the car, I managed to take a piece where I just was filling in with one color in straight lines.
Mm-hmm.
And on between the trip there and the trip back, I put in 790 stitches.
Wow.
It was crazy. And Keisha during that same time put in,
Oh,
you
let
were
me
at
check the spreadsheet. I'm
you
not
were
sure.
at almost 600. I know that.
Yeah, I stitched a lot that day. Let me see. Where is that day? Oh yeah, I mean I have that I did 682 stitches that day, and I don't think I worked on it very much whenever I got home. So
I knew you were close, and we were pushing in the car, but we were chatting a lot and having a good time. And when you are doing fill things, now Keisha had to do a little more than that,
mm-hmm.
but
But
when
it
you're
was
doing
mostly
that,
Phil.
yeah, it just, I felt like I was just moving. I got home and put in the back stitching on the piece that I had, and that fulfilled a whip go goal. So on the weekend, I'll get to show all those things.
Yeah.
I've been very excited about that.
Right. So what we're telling you is on our regular Sunday video, we have haul to show you, and we have maybe some progress to show you. Well, Laura has progress to show you. I have told Laura and Katie that I don't get my next Black Needle Society box until I finish the model. That they need to hold it hostage. I should finish it this week, guys. I really hope. But, you know, that's what I said last week, and then I had a boy who decided to grow teeth. So, but yeah, I was like, hold it hostage. And guys, I'm really excited about this box. So it's
It will
motivation.
be the rainbow box.
So I should have some. I'll definitely have Santa Cruz to show you, and you all know how excited I've been about that. So
yes, but we should probably get going for the evening. I'm sure you're ready to catch up with the family. Are you at a good spot?
yeah, I mean, I'm at as good a spot as any.
Oh, I got to get that. I can see that one little piece poking up. It's bugging me. I'll have to go right in and grab my snag nabbit. Okay.
And I don't know how many stitches. I'm going to have to go back and add them up because I wasn't really doing a very good job at counting.
Well, you can tell I'm definitely doing a different kind of stitching because I put in 88 stitches. And I am just weaving this through the back, and then I'll show you because I finished with this color. So when I stitched today, I put in, it's kind of hard to see, the pale green that it's in these leaves down here, and it leads out into what will be these flowers. They'll be similar to this, but so, and I got in all of the other color. So those are my 88 stitches.
Okay, well, I did some quick math and I've done 76 stitches. So I did basically this whole line down on the J.
Your colors are looking so good on that fabric. I love it.
I love them. I love this fabric too. It's just a really pretty and happy green. And I did this right smack in the center, so whenever I frame it eventually one day, I can have a lot of this fabric to show because I think it's just pretty.
It's really pretty. I cut mine off, you could tell, so it'll be a little smaller. But I have the other piece in here so that I remember what it is. It's
Nice.
still in the bag. I can crinkle it.
Nice.
So.
Oh, and hey, you always do this, so I'm going to show it lives in this Love You More sleeve. So, this Love You More sleeve that doesn't have a tag. Unbranded.
Oh, that's interesting.
I even looked to see if it's one of the newer ones, and it's not. Just no tag.
No.
A fun rainbowy inside. I won this doing chart bingo.
Oh.
Here's my card. So.
And mine is in this, which makes me think of the Let Joy Be Unconfined. So it's easy for me. I see this and I'm like, oh yes, I love that pattern. I should do that. And my inside is this really pretty pink with gold.
Nice. This
and I
lives
do
in
have
this
the old school label.
This lives in this sleeve because, well, it didn't have anything in it. And then we started this last Mother's Day, and I was like, haha, mom drinks. But I was pregnant last Mother's Day, so it made me laugh even more. So it lives in the mom's drinks sleeve.
Oh, that's too funny.
It's actually called Cheers, this sleeve. But
yes.
Right, it's the mom drinks sleeve.
Oh, and if you need a Mother's Day sleeve, we did come out with a Mother's Day sleeve last week, and it's called, Katie, help me. Bloomstruck. I knew it was bloom, and I just couldn't get the rest. Bloomstruck. So, and it's hydrangeas. It's so pretty.
Oh, fun.
And has a batik inside. I got to,
well, of course.
Well, you know, it got to be a Mother's Day thing, and Katie went around and looked at the batiks because we were looking at everything else, and weren't finding just what we wanted, but the batik we found just goes perfectly with it because it's kind of a watercolor print.
Mhm.
And so the batik, it's blues and greens. Wow, I
Yeah.
love it. And we have it in fulls and in standards.
Oh,
So
awesome.
because it's one we picked up at Missouri Star Quilt and it was pre-cut and we got a whole big bunch of it. So
Nice.
I still need to pull mine out and make it and reduce stock.
Right. It's your
Oh,
Mother's Day sleeve.
yes. So anyway, hopefully you guys will be seeing this on Wednesday. Hopefully I will get myself up and get in there and get it edited and up, which these are easy because I don't really have to edit anything. The beginning and the end.
You just get us unfiltered.
Yes, as opposed to the other ones where I'm like, yeah.
I always need a filter. It's okay. I know this about myself.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for spending time with us this evening, this
Yes.
afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you.
Right.
And we hope that you all enjoyed Mother's Day. Even if you're not a mother, you have a mother. So it's a great time to celebrate that person in your life. So we hope you enjoyed it and that you like the little reminiscences.
Yes. And if you didn't, thanks for sticking through them anyway. I don't know why you watched it if you didn't like it.
And by the way, welcome to our channel.
Hello. We said that.
Did we? Okay. I didn't have to say it because you host on this one.
We never get the intro right on these ones, guys. It's okay.
I ask Keisha every time. I say my name first, right?
Because we switch it from our normal videos. And see, here we are. We're rambling.
Yes.
You know what it is.
Missouri goodbyes.
We'll be standing on this front porch for a while.
There you go. Okay. So then all we have left to say is bye.
Bye. Have a good week.